Alright, who's ready to do the morning routine? Are you sure? Money's a renewable resource. I'm all the money I need. I am what it takes to be successful. It's all inside of me. I'm aligned with the divine because I am the divine. Yeah, I know I'm walking the fine line, but that's inside your mind. I ain't self-law and master, forecaster of my own fortune. That's why I speak with caution. Idle talk makes me nauseous.
What's up, y'all? It's that time for another episode of ColumbusBlack on Blast. This is where we highlight movers, shakers, and creators right here in the capital city doing amazing things, and we look forward to being able to highlight our special guest that we have with us today. Don't forget to check out all of the episodes of ColumbusBlack on Blast on ColumbusBlack.com. That's where you get to see all these movers, shakers, and creators and hear their stories. So you want to make sure you check that out. And as a reminder, if you have not downloaded the Mile app, that's MYLE, stands for Make Your Life Entertaining. Download it today for things to do, places to go, and food to eat. Just mile it, all right? So with that being said, I want to make sure we give a shout out to my man Cap City Nitty, who's actually doing this production for us from an editing perspective, and to UTS TV, the Sharon Gordon and her broadcast network, the only female-owned broadcast network in the nation. So make sure you support and check them out at utstv.com. But without further ado, it is time for us to talk about you. What's going on, yo? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm real good. Real good.
Good to see you, man.
I love the energy.
Good stuff. Hey, that's what they say. We got to bring it. That's why we're putting you on blast. All right?
For sure.
So check this out. So obviously, we've known each other for a long time, man. Like 15 plus years.
Way back.
Right? Did a lot of good stuff together. And you've been out here moving, shaking, and creating, man. And I'm elated to have you on today so that the community can understand more about what it is that you're doing. And how they can play a part in supporting you, right?
Yep.
But before we get there, would you tell them a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, all that good stuff, so that they start to understand, yo.
Yeah. My name is Yohannan Terrell. I'm originally from Akron, Ohio. Just a kid from Akron.
Just a kid from Akron.
Yeah,
man.
So, came here in '95. Came to Ohio State, the Ohio State University.
All right.
Trying to figure out life, and ever since then, it's been one wild roller coaster of entrepreneurship, events, trying to live and create the city that I want to live in.
There it is.
I've created my own media companies with Flypaper Magazine, Flypaper Media Group.
Shout out,
Thrown a lot of events. That's how we connected.
Events, man.
I mean, we've been throwing events for over a decade.
Yeah, man.
Over a decade. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think I was. A lot of people don't know. I used to run a lot of the nightclubs around here with a couple of good guys. So like. Back in the day with the Red Zone, legendary Red Zone.
Yeah, that's right.
Then we went to the Arena District, then Club Ice, Club Fire, Opium Lounge, Long Street Live, Mansion. Any of the big nightclubs.
All the big ones.
All the big nightclubs that you always talk about, like, oh man, remember we used to go there?
Yeah.
We were the ones behind the scenes making it shake, and I think that's one of the things that I found out about myself is I love to bring people together.
That's
so whether that was events, or media, or telling the story. So, I've been in that game for years, and I did a stint at the radio station. Shout out to Radio 1. I was running digital marketing for Radio 1 for about a good 6 years, all three markets.
Nice.
And then, was able to put myself in a position to start my own company, and that's how we ended up launching Warhol Wall St. And now it's on to the next chapter. So, over the last, since '95, when we think about that, that's 25 years ago. 25 years ago since I've been here, since I landed in this city, and it's just been a lot of touching the people, connecting the people, you know what I'm saying, building the culture, and trying to figure it all out in between,
Right.
Yeah.
So in essence, you really grew up here. You said 25 years.
It's longer than I lived in Akron. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Wow. All right, and done some amazing things. So he mentioned it, but if you ever kicked it in the city at any of those spots, you got to thank Yogi for that, all right? And there was a lot of good days.
Yeah, a lot of good days. And what's crazy is that we didn't have social media back then.
Nah, it's totally different.
So I only could tell these stories, and I remember as like the last few years, that last year that we were at the Red Zone, somebody had tapped me one day, was like, have you ever recorded any of this stuff? And I was like,
Big miss, right? Like, think about that, right?
Bruh.
All those years, all the fun.
Yeah.
All that was missed.
We could have made a movie out of that.
Absolutely.
Stuff,
Definitely could have made a movie out of it.
It was crazy.
Matter of fact, one of our boys who went to LA, we've been talking to him about trying to make a movie because he does his writing. We've been talking about all the stuff we used to do and how he needs to write a movie about it. Maybe we can convince him to do that.
Hey man, listen, guy, we got together, and we were coming up. What's crazy? We've always been before our time. You know what I mean? And I think Columbus should appreciate innovators. You know, me and you are a part of a larger group of people that live here in the city that move things forward. And we were at the table putting together a platform for Black excellence and engagement and cross-cultural platforms years ago, and we took them to the powers that be, and people weren't ready for it.
Yet. They weren't ready yet.
And then you see it happening now, and we just look at each other like, bro, look at this.
Like, look at this.
What I mean?
Exactly.
Look at this happening.
It's
man.
crazy,
So,
right?
real crazy.
It is crazy. So two shouts I want to throw in there. So that actor that I mentioned and writer is Mo Hall, right? So Maurice Hall, former Buckeye. So we need to holler about doing this movie for us. And because he's working on some big stuff. Actually, he might come and do some stuff in Ohio that he's working on too. So without me telling the whole story. And then actually Kevin Boyce. I don't remember. We sat down with Kevin Boyce, right? So and Kev told us, he said, keep going, stay close to the city, and we were leaps and bounds ahead at that time, man. And we're still doing what we need to do in the city, so we appreciate that message from Kev.
Partnership.
Yeah, he took it back, privilege partnership, that was it. So, that was live. So check it out. So that's going back, and then we talked about like the past 25, right? You kind of did a nice little synopsis on that. Well, tell us what you're working on now, right, to bring everybody up to speed.
So Warhol Wall St is a branding firm we started about, now it'll be almost about 9 years ago.
Wow,
I started while I was at the radio station, so I worked it part-time at the radio station. And shout out to Radio 1 for giving me the freedom to have time to get out of the office, because I use a lot of that time to have meetings. I ain't gonna front.
Yeah, so, I ain't gonna front.
I would come back. They looked out for me. I would come back and they'd be like, where you been at for the last 2 hours? I'm like, interviews and video.
We just let it out the bag. But that's what all these movie shakers and creators do, right? We do double duty at first until you can slide out. So
until you slide out. I was able to slide on my own accord, but not without the support of Radio 1. Thank you. We're running Warhol Wall St. We do a lot of branding and engagement. So we work with clients from small business startups. We help build brands all the way to creating music festivals for PepsiCo. So we've done a lot of really fun stuff. One of the latest campaigns we've done was the Harlem Renaissance initiative. Right. So we ran a whole year and a half of events and content and just really putting on for Black artists here in Columbus, Ohio. So if you got to go to any of the events for the Harlem Renaissance celebration, great. And if you got to support the artists here, and we want to keep that movement going by continuing to support Black artists. But so we did that campaign. Well, we recently did Sneaker Ball, which is an event we're going to do annually, which was a really dope event to help provide sneakers for youth, underserved youth. And
that's live.
And then we create, all types of stuff with content. Huntington Bank as a client, Cardinal Health as a client, Nationwide as a client. So we're really, really, really grateful and excited to have those opportunities. Feel really blessed to have those opportunities. But so that's happening. But what I'm really, really excited about is I've been working on a project, and we haven't even done an official launch yet. So this is kind of where it's going down.
Sneak peek, right here, ColumbusBlack on Blast. We got Go ahead.
I've been dropping breadcrumbs about it here and there, but now it's starting to really take shape. So we've been for the last 2 years, and we've learned over the years that you don't. And this is a lesson I've learned a long time ago. But you don't talk about things before they happen. I don't do that. I used to as a young kid. I used to be like, oh man, I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna do this, and I still run into cats, and they be like, oh bro, I'm about to do this with this group, and I'm about to do that. I'm about to do this, and it's like, all right, bro, all right, cool, man. But I don't do that. So now, I make sure I take that same energy and put it into the work.
That's right.
And then I'd rather tell you when it's happening. And then you can judge my work based on what I've done and not what I've talked about. You know what I'm saying? So I've been.
that's a gem that he just dropped. Right?
Sure.
Do the work. Show the work.
Yeah. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Do it. Then talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And so for the past couple years, under the radar, I've been researching Columbus's makeup, and it started out as a brand exercise. So that's kind of how I got involved in it. And a brand, when you think about brand, a lot of people think branding and marketing are the same thing, but they're really not. Marketing is more of an application of, TV, video, strategy and stuff like that. But a brand is really what you offer to the world. You know what I'm saying? Your brand is what the essence of whatever it is, your product, your company. So you may sell cars, but your brand may be totally different. You know what I'm saying? Because the personality of who you are, how people look at you, your brand is really what people say when you leave a room.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so Columbus has had kind of a brand issue.
Absolutely.
So, you know, if you live here, you know it's a dope city, right? If you live here, it's like there's a lot of stuff to do. It's very, you know, progressive. You know, a lot of people of color and affluence and position. But when you're outside of the bubble, a lot of people don't really care too much about or know really what's going on. And their perception of Columbus is like, oh, you live in Columbus? Is it cows? It's still, I mean, even it's 2020. Are we still getting Cowtown? You know what I'm saying? So
Cowtown and Slow Lumbus, man. Like,
you haven't been here. You haven't been here. So we started out as a brand project, and we started looking at what the city authentically has. So we have a lot of industries that kind of make up the economic development portion of our city, and that's insurance. You got Nationwide, stuff like that. Education. We got, you know, the Ohio State University here. Let me see, logistics, we got like Rickenbacker and Columbus, you know, we do a lot of shipping here for a lot of different companies. And then we also have fashion. So L Brands, you know, Express. So we saw this article that Columbus was the #3 city for fashion. And I mean, I love fashion, and I'm looking around like, bro, I look around and I do not see a fashion city. And I'm like, there's no way in hell. You telling me New York, LA, what about Chicago, Atlanta, Florida, you know what I mean? I'm thinking about all these places. So we started to look at what made us #3. And what made us #3 was, one, the logistic hubs that we have here. Two, we have all these headquarters here. So L Brands, Ascena holds Lane Bryant, Justice, a whole bunch of different, you know, brands under that company. Express, Abercrombie and Fitch, DSW, which is now a designer brand. I mean, we have more headquarters for fashion and retail here than any other city. And then the other piece was we have the largest amount of fashion designers outside of New York and LA. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, I've never seen these designers. Like, where are these designers at? Like, where are these designers? So we realized that there was a big gap between what we technically have and then what's experienced in our city. Like, we all live here. We don't experience this fashion city. And so we looked at that and we said, that's your brand opportunity right there. So if you're looking at how do we start to tell our own story, and nowadays, because marketing is changing and branding is changing, now it's all about your brand story. Right? Like, people, they engage with you. What's your story? They engage with you because you got to relate and connect with them first. And so we were like, Columbus needs to build their brand story around what they already have. And so we try to get Amazon here, and we've got Smart Columbus. We try to bring things here to kind of add to the mix of the city, but if we look at what we have already and invest into that, that's how we could build a brand from the inside out. And so we went to the city and we were like, hey, you know, we found this out, and we just want to know, like, why aren't we doing more with fashion? And it really was because, you know, if you say 10 years ago, when L Brands is winning, Victoria's Secrets is winning, all these different retailers, you know, big retail was winning, it would be hard for them to do anything together. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, oh, we're here, we're paying taxes, we're employing thousands of people, we're just here for the perks and benefits. So there was a disconnect between the retailers and the city itself. But nowadays, you know, fashion's changing. You know, it's going more to that brand story, smaller, you know, brands are becoming more popular. People are shopping online. I mean, you're buying clothes off of Instagram now. So retail is changing. So now, so now there's a big movement to kind of reinvigorate what fashion and retail looks like here. So that's kind of what the Columbus Fashion Initiative was birthed from. It was birthed from the fact that we have all of these resources. Why don't we take these resources, invest into those, and create a culture and an ecosystem around fashion where everyone can get involved. You know what I'm saying? So
that's the future brand of Columbus, huh?
I believe so. And a lot of other people believe it too.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna launch this March, and what you're gonna see a lot more events happening around fashion, a lot more education happening around fashion, a lot more resources. So we're going to build an actual facility where you can come in and designers and creators and entrepreneurs can connect, and they can create products together, create brands and businesses together. and launch them out. We're gonna have partnerships with like retail hubs like East End and Bridge Park and Short North, so that you can create products and put them in retail, spaces. And so our goal is to help Columbus become the best city to start or grow a fashion business.
Okay.
We want to say, can we take all these resources we already have, these experts, the talent, the workforce? Can we launch the next Tom Ford? Can we launch the next big fashion entrepreneur? Can we create the next fashion innovation all out of this market? Because we have all the pieces.
That's right.
We just need to put them together. And so after some long hours, and you got to bite the bullet when you're trying to launch something off. So put in thousands of dollars worth of hours of my time, talking to all the right people again and again and again, just beating the drum. Persistence, man. You got to be persistent. Listen, if you know something's right and you do your research, I always look at it like this. I always try to tear any idea I have down. That's a good tip for anybody. If you're thinking about doing something, if you got an idea, tear it down. Try to tear it down. Try to tear it down as much as possible. Because if you try to tear it down and it's still hot, then you know you got something. So think about all the other things. I always think about, okay, can this really happen? What kind of people would really who would really get involved with this? Is it really just my idea and I think it's hot, or is it something that people really, does it have real value? So I always try to, and I always pitch it to people, like I'll bring something to you and be like, hey, what you really think about this, man? And I want you to tell me the real, because sometimes we get blinded by an idea and we think it's so hot that we don't listen to other people, and we'll end up spending years and years of time and waste a lot of money driving something that was only hot to us. And everybody else is like, nah, son, the writing was on the wall a long time ago. So, I did that. I did that over the last year. And
he's dropping gems left and right, so I hope y'all are paying attention to what's happening. He's just dropping them. Keep going.
Yeah, so we did our research. We did a qualitative study. And I told my team, I was like, if I'm going to take the time to do it, I want to do it right. I don't care about rushing into market. We're talking about changing the city.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Landscape.
Yeah. That's a big thing. And you don't want to just go out there and say, oh man, it's the hottest new thing. So we did our research. We teamed up with Lexington. We teamed up with a couple of other researchers. Bill Lafayette has helped assist us with some stuff.
Nice.
And so we did a qualitative and quantitative study, and that basically proved what we already knew, but it gave us real data.
That's right.
And then we took that data back to the city, and we're like, hey, we already told you that this is an opportunity, but now, the students, the entrepreneurs, the designers, the creators, the retailers have all said the same thing, that we have an opportunity if we just work together to do it. So, Columbus is the Columbus Way is a real thing. It's actually, if you look it up, Columbus Way, it's actually taught at Harvard.
Okay.
Harvard teaches a course on the Columbus Way. A lot of people don't know that. Harvard teaches a course on the Columbus Way, and the Columbus Way is collaborative action to move something forward. Columbus is one of the only cities I know of that you can go into, and if you have something of value, you can get tapped into a network of people, and they'll connect you with somebody. It's very open. It is open around here. It's real. If you have something of value, you can get tapped into the right networks, and you can move it forward. So,
which is different than most other cities.
It's different than most other cities. So if you live in Columbus, take advantage of that. Because you go to New York, people try to keep you out.
Absolutely.
You go to LA, it's even worse.
Yeah.
So you try to get in certain industries, and when you think about the fashion industry, you go to New York, you go to LA, it's like get in line with the other million of people who have an idea for a fashion brand or a business. Where here, it's like green pastures, it's wide open. You can come here, and a lot of people I know that make it in Columbus aren't even from Columbus. Because they come here and they see the opportunities. And they have that same hustle from wherever they came from. For me, it was Akron.
Like that Akron.
You know what I'm saying? Where, funny thing, I couldn't even get a job in Akron. Like Akron, I was working third shift at like a little retirement home, because you only could get the jobs that are available in Akron. So here, you come here, and it's like, oh snap. I got a lot to do here. So anyway, we took data back to the city, and then that's when Shannon Hardin and City Council really got behind it. They say, you know what, let's help you get this thing started, because they know there's this opportunity to kind of create a new economy in Columbus. And from my perspective, I want to build the city that I want to live in. I love going to Chicago. I love going to Atlanta. I love that energy. And since we don't have pro football, pro basketball, we don't have beaches and mountains, we got to think about what can we create that will give our city that energy.
Exactly.
And I think fashion to have that balance, because it's like, we could create that celebrity, create that industry here, but still have the environment and the lifestyle that Columbus offers. So, and so with that city support, we were able to open up in the Idea Foundry, so the Idea Foundry in Franklinton. So we're going to launch that in March, and you're going to start to see a lot of things happening around fashion, retail, and shoes.
All right.
Bruh, shoes.
Right. Shoes. Hell, before you go any further, we're going to take a quick break, right? So as you can see, this is the reason why we're highlighting Yohannan Terrell, otherwise known as Yogi. He is a mover, shaker, and a creator right here in the capital city, and we are putting him on blast, but we'll be right back after this break. Thank you. Hello, my name is Kevin Lloyd. I am the co-founder and CEO of MILE, which stands for Make Your Life Entertaining. MILE is a super cool social activity and entertainment platform that allows you to quickly find things to do, places to go, and food to eat right on your digital device. As we all know, some people have what we call FOMO, right? So that's the fear of missing out. Cool part is with MILE, there is no FOMO, right? So this is where you can truly make your life entertaining. So I'm inviting you to download the app today and find all the cool events that are going on right around you. Now, if you're a promoter, if you host events, you definitely want to download MILE because you can post your events and you can promote your events. And it sends out this really cool alert to everybody that has the app to let them know about your event. So without further ado, you need to make sure that you check it out. So once again, when you're looking for things to do, places to go, and food to eat, just MILE it. Welcome back, to Columbus Black on Blast. We are here with Yohannan, Yogi, Terrell, and if you missed the first segment, you missed a lot of gems that were dropped, but we're going to kick it off from there. So you were breaking everything down in regards to, obviously, your background. Then you were bringing us to speed, what you've been working on now with the Columbus Fashion Initiative. And you were talking about getting ready to go to the shoes piece, right?
So as we've been doing a lot of this research to find out about, fashion and fashion's history in Columbus, Ohio, I've been learning about people like Les Wexner, who got a loan from his family, like a $5,000 loan, and that's how he started L Brands. I mean, I've been researching a lot of things, but one of the things I found very interesting was that Columbus used to be the largest manufacturer of shoes in the country.
In the nation, huh?
Yeah, in the nation. Like, literally, we have a lot of buildings, including the Idea Foundry. If you've ever been to the Idea Foundry, it used to be a shoe factory. As a matter of fact, you've been to Red Zones back in the day. Absolutely. So the building that was right across the street from the Red Zone, that old building, it was like a storage building or something for a while. That used to be a shoe factory. And it was, matter of fact, that company was called the Julian now. It's a condo building now. But the Julian was actually the Julian company that manufactured shoes. It was the biggest manufacturer of women's shoes up until the 70s. Until the onset of the Chinese market came and kind of beat them out of the market. So Columbus has had a rich history of shoe production, right? And so
I bet y'all didn't know that. I just know y'all didn't know that.
A lot of people don't know that. I was like, whoa. And so I started to talk to a couple people. So I met with the CEO of Designer Brands, which is DSW. And so DSW is a company that's also headquartered here. And we started to talk about, shoes. And as I'm talking to him, he's telling me of all of the different people that come through Columbus that just come through DSW. You talk about Steve Madden, one of the biggest shoe designers in the country, in the world. He's here all the time at DSW. Dwayne Edwards, who many people probably don't know Dwayne Edwards because we always talk about Tinker Hatfield when you talk about Jordan, right? So Dwayne Edwards has a company called Pinso. Dwayne Edwards made like 3, 4, or 5 pairs of Jordans. He was a designer of like 3 or 4 or 5 pairs of Jordans. He's here all the time.
All the time, in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, all the time. So as we're talking to Roger Rollins, the CEO of DSW, we're realizing that we have so many talented, world-renowned, like innovators in fashion and shoes. And so we're looking at bringing, shoe design back to the city.
That's right.
Hopefully shoe production back to the city.
That's awesome.
So Columbus, people don't know there's an opportunity right now to become a shoe designer. A lot of people don't know that. So we're working on there's 4 pillars of the fashion initiative. There's learn, make, innovate, and experience. And that's based off of the study we did. Those are the 4 areas of focus. So on the learn side, we're looking at getting fashion education in all public schools. Because you want to start where, when the youth start to think about what do I do next, you want to expose them to what the opportunities are, right?
Yeah.
And so shout out to my man Rob Smith, matter of fact, Marcus Green, Jamie Simon-Tinger, Alex Bandar, Chris Jones. Those are the core people that are working with us. Lindsay Dunleavy, Cynthia Gravino, a couple other people.
Good shout outs.
Good shout outs. All great people. But there's people here that look like us that are doing amazing things in fashion. And if the students can start getting connected to that earlier,
that's right,
then they can start to get involved, get educated, get exposed, and start to see a path for themselves that doesn't just look like sports or rap or singing or something like that, right? Show them that, oh yeah, you want to make good money, you can make $200,000 a year in fashion, but it doesn't have to be a designer. It could be an innovative, sourcing manager. It could be somebody who works in textiles.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
But
all logistics.
Right? Tied to fashion. So we're going to get fashion education in the schools. We're already working on that. We're working with KIP Academy to do a summer camp for fashion, and we're going to invite kids from Columbus City schools to come in and learn there. We're going to start a fashion club in Columbus City schools.
I love it.
So we're going to have all that stuff going on. So on the shoe side, people don't know that there's a whole opportunity to design shoes here in Columbus. So we're going to start that whole track too as well. So we're going to start programs that are going to teach kids and teach anyone. Really, you can learn how to design shoes. And so we're going to start teaching those things and creating that pipeline between
I'll be there.
Us and our retailers too. So
that's loud.
so a lot of exciting things going on, man.
Clearly there are, right? And listen, y'all, once again, this is why he's been highlighted as a mover, shaker, creator, transforming the culture and fabric of our city, but leveraging the foundation of what already exists and taking it to the next level, right? That is amazing. Good stuff, yo.
That's why it makes sense, man. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
So check it out, right? So understanding all of that, this entrepreneurship, let's talk about being an entrepreneur, and you've been through a lot last 25 years and what you've been doing. Why don't you talk a little bit about what that's like, right? The perseverance that's required, the dedication, commitment, the long hours, the sacrifices. You mentioned roller coaster earlier. What do you? I hear a lot of entrepreneurs talk about this roller coaster. So break down the entrepreneur piece.
I wish I had this image I could throw up on the screen as I was talking. But there's this image that shows like this graph. It's like a chart graph, and it's like the life of an entrepreneur. And it's like one day you're like, man, this is going pretty good. The next day, I probably should stop.
Right.
And the next day, it's like, nah, man, this is what I'm supposed to do. And the next day, it's like, oh, I'm in deep trouble.
Right.
And the next one is like, I'm on top of the world. And it's like everything's crashing. Literally, I think being an entrepreneur, a lot of people have misconceptions about being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur, first of all, the first thing you got to know is that you're going to work 3 times as hard to make the same amount of money that you would make working for somebody else. Right? But the value in working for yourself, right, is 3 times as much rewarding than working for somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
But there's so many things you learn in being an entrepreneur. A lot of entrepreneurs build things off of passion. And I've had many failures building things off of passion, right? I started Flypaper, and it was like we needed a voice for like younger hip hop culture and all this type of stuff, but the financial model wasn't there. Lost a lot of money doing that, so being an entrepreneur, it really takes a toll on your mental, takes a toll on your physical. It takes discipline that you never thought you would really ever have or didn't expect. It really is a different type of lifestyle, but if you really are an entrepreneur, it's the only lifestyle you see living. You know what I'm saying? Even if you work, I've worked in companies. I worked at Radio 1 for like 6 years. There's a certain type of feeling that you have that tells you.
That pull.
It pulls you. It pulls you all the time. And it just keeps on saying, because people that are entrepreneurs they not only have passion, but they have drive. And sometimes when you work for someone else, you cannot tap into that passion and drive, right? It's like, just check these things off every day, do your job, sit down and make this money. So there's a lot of things about being an entrepreneur that are great. There's a lot of things that you're going to learn. Wisdom is watching other people fail and learning from those, you know what I'm saying? But then also you're going to learn, especially if you're trying to be an innovator, you're going to find yourself lonely in a lot of places because you're trying to go places that nobody else has gone before. You know what I'm saying? And so when you find yourself lonely, sometimes wondering like, what am I going to do? You're probably on the right path because you're probably in a space a lot of people haven't gone. And that's what kind of that's what being an innovator and an entrepreneur is about. It's about seeing the opportunity there. But just know going with it, you know, having your financial model solid, because you got to take care of yourself.
That's right.
And understanding, you know, once you tap into it, you know, once you really tap into that, you can make way more money than you ever could in corporate.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
could, right? Or you can just make a good living. But most people that are great entrepreneurs, they never really do it just for the money.
That's right.
They do it because they are living their passion and because they want to create. And if you're creating that opportunity, you're creating something that's of value, the money will come.
Yeah.
But just don't forego the financial, you know what I'm saying, foundation. Just make sure you have a business model that will allow you to pay yourself to do what you're doing. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I've created jobs for myself through entrepreneurship, you know what I mean? And that's cool, but the next level of entrepreneurship is building the business and then building the empire. You know what I'm saying? So if you're able to create a job for yourself, boom, you're on the right path. Like create a job for yourself, because you pay yourself to do what you love to do, but then constantly think about where you're going from that. So entrepreneurship, I mean, tomorrow I might tell you I probably need a job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like literally tomorrow, right? Like, I can't do it no more. I need a job. Hook me up with a job, right? But for today,
bro, I'm on it.
on time, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
all right.
for sure.
Thanks for sharing that. Hopefully you all got another big gem from that, right? That's a true entrepreneur talking to you, let you know both sides, right? Because it is that up and it is that down, and then there's that way up. Right, and then way down. Now, good stuff. So talk to us about what's next for you, and then we want to talk about how we can help you as well, right?
Yeah. So, you know, I think for me right now, the biggest thing is this Columbus Fashion Initiative. You know, what I believe we're trying to do is set the foundation for what the city can then get behind. It's not something that I own, so believe that. It's like our role that we're trying to play is to help create a foundation for what can benefit others.
Okay.
So what we're looking to do is just get people excited about fashion as an opportunity. So to give you a good example, in Indianapolis, back in the 80s, they used to call downtown, they called Indianapolis Donut City, because the downtown was dead and there wasn't a lot of energy in the city at that time. So they the powers that be got together. So the community, the city, corporations, they all got together and they said, hey, you know, we're pretty good at amateur sports. Why don't we become the amateur sports capital of the world? You know, and so if you know anything about Indianapolis now, they have state-of-the-art sports facilities. They hold all of the combines there. The Olympic tryouts are there. All of the amateur sports national championships are there. College sports go there. They got the Colts there. They have the Indy 500 there. Indianapolis is now one of the best cities to go for anything sports related. It is a sports city, but it wasn't done by accident.
Right.
It was done by saying, here's what we're going to do. Now everybody tap into that.
That's right.
It was like setting the vision, and then everybody else do what you do. But just know that this is where we're going. So what we're trying to do is paint that picture of this is where we're going, and then everybody can get involved. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, you might start a brand tomorrow. And that brand becomes, because we've created this foundation, now your brand might become the next big brand. So my thing is to inspire people in the city to say, hey, if you ever wanted to get into fashion, don't think about just being a designer. Think about technology, how that feeds into fashion. Think about logistics, how that feeds into fashion. Sourcing. You might start a zipper company and end up providing all the zippers for every brand.
That's very true.
You know what I'm saying?
Just like that.
Just like
business
that.
Major business opportunity.
Right. A lot of people talk about fabrics around here. There's need for fabric companies. There's need for buttons. You know, there's a lot of small things. There's need for a trained workforce. If you know how to really sew, there's a need for skilled sewers. There's a need for skilled sewers to teach other people. So we're talking to like the Urban League, we're talking to the state about creating a place in Columbus to where we are training our community to learn these skills, so that if we attract businesses and they want to move here, we got 50 skilled sewers that can start working for them, you know, off the top. That's really where the wave of the inclusiveness starts to happen, is that what can you do to be a part of this movement and let us all feed off of each other. So you know, so that's kind of like, you know, really what's going on right now. That's what we're putting a lot of energy into. But at the same time, I personally, we're just talking about it, I've personally been really thinking about cultural progression and creating cultural hubs in the city. And so I've been a really big advocate on us getting together. You know what I'm saying? Our communities getting together and building the city that we want to live, building the neighborhoods that we want to live in. And I think there's a huge opportunity for Black people to start, putting our differences aside and putting our resources and our talents to the forefront and saying, hey, what can you do that I can help you do, or what can I do that helps you out? And let's start creating these cultural hubs, because as every major city has, you have your Chinatowns, and you got your Harlems, and you got your Hyde Parks, and you got your Little Italies and your Greek towns, things like that. Columbus has so much rich history in our neighborhoods, and like Linden and Bronzeville, King Lincoln, that we need to, as a community, come together more often. And you're starting to see it happen. I just talked at the Urban League White Peace Summit, which is a great event. Thank you guys for inviting me.
Awesome.
Just talk there about it, and you're starting to see it happen. So you have a collective of young men that started a bar called Our Bar in Old Town East. Shout out to the bros. And then you have Don Dixon, who's a serial entrepreneur, from Columbus, Ohio, has Popcom. She just got together with a few people. They pitched in together, and they just opened up a vegan cafe. Lifestyle cafe.
And the food was excellent, by the way.
Yes. Actually, I haven't had it yet. So
you need to check that out.
Real soon.
Real soon.
I've tried it, because y'all hopefully will air this after. It was delicious.
Yeah, by the time this airs, he's already tried the food. Right?
It was great. Great. But they got together and they, started a new business.
That's right.
And sometimes we overthink stuff, and then we try to, crabs in a barrel. I want to do everything. We found out, talking to the chamber, that African Americans we are probably the biggest. We account for the largest amount of sole proprietorships being registered for businesses. We all have businesses. Everybody that went to the state and signed up, and we got our own cars and stuff, but they're all sole proprietorships because we all want to own something. Right? But see, owning something, if it ain't going nowhere, don't mean anything. Right? But if you got together with a couple of people and said, hey, I got $5,000, you got $5,000, all right, these cats, we got 10 people that got $5,000. Now we got us a restaurant. And that restaurant might not, it might not feed your family and all that type of stuff, but it'll give you leverage to be able to get a couple dollars to do the next venture, right? And so I think that we overthink sometimes what it takes to really start to build community. It doesn't take a lot. So when you look at, things that are happening in our neighborhoods, and everybody's screaming gentrification and screaming, things are happening around us, don't let things happen around you. You know what I'm saying? Get with people. Yeah, I mean, you have neighborhoods right now where there's houses available, and tap into the people who know what's going on. We have too many Black people who are in positions of power who know the neighborhoods that are transitioning. They know where the opportunities are, but nobody goes to them and says, hey, what's going on? But if we started to communicate more and then talk to the people that we have in these places that are able to help us and are looking to help us, then we can find out and say, okay, there's churches that own tons of land that aren't doing anything with it. You can go to the church and say, hey, we want to create a plaza, or we want to create affordable housing. There's things that we can do to create our own, and we just need to stop overthinking it and just start to put it in action and just start to get together, because that's what's happening, and we got to stop saying it's happening around us. So that's personally one of the things I've been on.
Gem drops.
Gem drops. Let's go.
Gem drops. All around you, wherever you stand, you got a gem being dropped right around you, right? Yes, we need to collaborate. We need to make a difference. We need to have that impact. Stop talking about it. Definitely be about it, and we need to work together. It's 2020. We got to stop talking about the nonsense. You mentioned something. You mentioned crabs in a barrel, right? Now, it was on my mind. One of the coolest things I heard from somebody, I saw this, I think, a post, because, this crabs in the barrel mentality, is that how did the crabs get in the barrel? It's not their natural habitat. Crabs should never be in the barrel, right? So we were removed from our natural habitat, and this environment was created, and that's where the crabs in the barrel thing comes from. But we need to get back to our natural habitat mentally, especially because we know better now and do better now, all right? So
to add to that, bro,
what's up?
You ever seen those videos of the crabs all marching to the sea together? You ever seen
Yeah,
those videos?
yeah.
There are thousands of crabs walking all to the beach together, right? So in their natural environment, they're all working together. It's like one movement of them working together, moving forward. But then you put them in a barrel.
That's when that's not where we're supposed to be. So
we
get out the barrel, gem drop, baby, gem drop, all right? So that's what we're doing. So check this out. How do people get in contact with you? If they want to follow with you, they heard about all the things you've done, that you're about to do. How do they get involved, especially those fashion interested people?
So you can find me on social media. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm not on Twitter as much anymore, and I stopped really posting as much. But I'm on all social media. Yohannan Terrell on Instagram at Big Biz Yogi, BIGBIZYOGI. You can also email me yterrell at YTERRELL at ColumbusFashion.org if you want to talk about the Columbus Fashion Initiative. If you need any branding, you can reach us at Warhol and Wall St. That's WarHollWallSt.com. And you can reach us there. And also my email there is yterrell at warholandwallstreet.com. But yeah, you know what I mean? Hit me up. Let's go. Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
So you have no excuses, right? So if something that you heard from Yogi resonates with you, you know how to reach out to him through his different channels. Obviously, a serial entrepreneur doing amazing things right here in Columbus. So that's really good stuff, right?
Yeah.
One last thing for you is how do we help you, right? Like if you said, hey, one thing that everybody listening to this, they can do today to help with the movements and the efforts that you have going on, what would it be?
One thing?
Yeah, one thing. Well, maybe two. Give us two.
All right, two. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'll say one, we always need to help each other. So give to get to give. I learned that from a mentor.
Okay.
If there's any way that you can help us or any way that we can help you when it comes to from a marketing perspective, a branding perspective, we always, we're a small business still, you know what I mean? There's only like 5 of us in this office. So if there's any opportunities you need work, we're your team for that. And also just spread the word about what's going on. Find those individuals who are innovators, find those individuals who are game changers, and let's start working together. Let's just start working together. Let's start finding opportunities to get together, not just a party, but to plan and strategize and put our own 20-year initiatives together like other people are doing so that we can start benefiting and start thinking a long game. Let's start planning for the next 2 decades what we're going to do, because I still got time to be around. I'd rather see us work together and have something come out 10 years from now that changes the game for all of us than to worry about, what I'm going to do, this year just to get over on somebody. You feel me? So let's spread the word. Let's get together.
Nice. Sounds good. All right. Well, y'all heard it, so y'all know how to reach out to him. You know how you can support him. One of those ways is to share this message, right? If you're looking at this, it's online, you can share it. If it's on TV, you can share it. That's how you get the word out, you spread it, and that's how we continue to help with his efforts that is only going to help everybody else involved. So, on that note, has ColumbusBlack.com done anything for you?
Oh man, they put me on blast.
That's what we do. We highlight movers, shakers, and creators right here on Columbus Black on Blast. You all heard it first, so make sure you check out all the episodes on ColumbusBlack.com. As I mentioned earlier, if you've not downloaded the Mile app, make sure you download it. It's MYLE. Stands for Make Your Life Entertaining, how you find things to do, places to go, food to eat. I mentioned it earlier, but we are at UTS TV Studios right here in Columbus, Ohio, the only female-owned, African-American female-owned broadcast network. So make sure you check it out at UTSTV.com. Shout out to my man Cap City Nitty for putting this on. And as a reminder, I say this all the time. In order for you to be more successful in your future, you need to understand a little bit more about your past. That's the reason why we just put Yohannan, Yogi, Terrell on blast, and that's what we do. And with that, y'all already know, I'm out.
All right, who's ready to do the morning routine? Are you sure? Money's a renewable resource. I'm all the money I need. I am what it takes to be successful. It's all inside of me. I'm aligned with the divine because I am the divine. Yeah, I know I'm walking the fine line, but that's inside your mind. I ain't self-law and master, forecaster of my own fortune. That's why I speak with caution. Idle talk makes me nauseous. If it ain't about me and mine, we decline your invitation to bad vibes. I had my share of those in the past life. Ask for not act right, say it loud. And the greatest, tell yourself.